that's the beauty and the power of having two people who are like-minded, who may have different approaches, but have the same common goal, being on one council to move a city forward. As mayor, I've seen her do a phenomenal job, in my personal opinion, serving the city, being more open to listen to different people, while also just showing that she's going to maintain her integrity and be who she is. She's allowed me to do a wide variety of different things, and I think as a council we've been able to do different things. So yeah, it's been tough and challenging, but I think that also shows kind of how we operate. She's always looking for perfection, and she celebrates the wins, and I'm always talking about, let's figure out, how do we expound on what we've done, and let's not lose sight of the fact that we're doing some really good work. But she makes sure she drives a hard ship, and that ship is going forward. So I'm really proud of the work that we've been able to do this year.
The Business Equity Fund, I think, is one of those initiatives that shows how we work well together. Councilor Bellamy is usually, he hears something, he wants to, figure out how to implement it. And with that initiative, he came in, they had done, some work as a committee, spun off of the idea that he had and that they had been working on for over a year. And then I just tightened it up some in terms of the interest rate that the individuals who would benefit from it, just making sure that was lowered and that they didn't have to pay any more than they, absolutely needed, since it was city funding the initiative.
Yeah, I think she's given me a little bit too much credit, though, in that regard. The Business Equity Fund may have been my idea, but I think that's just one example. She often has several ideas in terms of policy measures that I don't think she gets enough credit for, in terms of just how active she is, also in terms of writing policy. I think sometimes people think that that's more of my thing, which it is, but she does a great deal of it as well. And she's right. I normally come with ideas and whatnot, and she tightens them up. But her brilliance and her fortitude, I think, is exemplified in something like, if people go back and watch that particular meeting, I was fine with the interest rate. I think it was something like 6 or 7%, but they were going to be getting a great deal of money, and we knew that it was going to be an immediate thing that was going to help these minority businesses, or the term in which we identify to this particular group of people. And she was saying, no, that's not good enough. Let's lower it. And I'm thinking, well, Kaya, if we do it like that, it's not going to get passed. It's never going to get passed. And she's like, no, let's get it lowered. Well, they said, okay, well, how about 3%? She's like, no, get it lower. Let's get it lower. Let's get it lower. And she was able to negotiate something that I didn't think we would be able to do. And I think that is kind of the example. She is so brilliant in the way in which she thinks. And sometimes it intimidates people, but she has a level of fortitude and, again, resilience in which she will stand on her morals and her principles, in which people either want to come around or she's going to make you come around. And I really appreciate that about her. So she can make any idea. Yeah, make. You don't want to, we being truthful, right? It's Vinegar Hill. Make you come around, either you with it or you not, but the train is going. But in all honesty, I appreciate that, because you have individuals like myself, and I think we were talking about this a little bit off air. Our personalities are similar, but we're different. I'm an individual who I'm willing to find middle ground as long as we can get something. She's more so, she's willing to lose everything on the fact that we need to get everything that we come for. So when you have two people in that regard, it allows us to be able to accomplish a great deal, because we have two different experiences, and we're going to leave the table with either all of what we wanted, or probably more than what I thought we would be able to get, because she's pushing hard and then I'm going in my own way. It's not 10 times out of 10, but 9 times out of 10, or 8.5 times out of 10, she and I are on the same page. We don't have to talk about it. We don't have to have pre-meetings. I know pretty much a lot of what she wants. She knows pretty much a lot of what I want. And then we can just get things done. And I think that's the beauty and the power of having two people who are like-minded, who may have different approaches, but have the same common goal, being on one council to move a city forward.
I tell him all the time, or better yet, the symbol I have on my wall of the, you know, African head, which 4 heads coming out of it. So the whole 4 heads is better than 1. And so in this case, 2 heads are better than 1. And so that's one of my biggest frustration, and especially the state of the city still for Black families, minority families, low income families. And it's kind of overwhelming to think about the fact that it's just going to be me with that kind of, understanding of the needs, and being the one that's kind of responsible for making sure that everyone feels that they are being heard and that their needs are being met. Because the number of people who reach out and call and want to talk about, and even if it's just, read an announcement or a proclamation, it's a lot to make sure that you're connecting with everybody on top of everyone else in the city. Because while, Black people and other minorities will probably call us the majority of the time, we also have to respond to the needs of the entire city at the same time. So I'm concerned about that and how I'm gonna see that through. And he has more energy in terms of that. I need to be in the room with the policy alone, tweaking it, and he, can be in 20 places while I'm doing that. And so now there'll probably be the expectation that I fulfill that 20, spaces in a day role and tweak the policy. And I'm not sure how that works.
But if anybody can do it, she can do it.
That's not what we just.
No, but I want to say something though. I was thinking about this last night, and I've never shared this. I really just thought about it last night. We're really both Holly's offspring in 2 different ways. I think your personality is more similar to Miss Holly's than people really know, because they don't really know that side of Miss Holly. And then I'm kind of more social, as she was, in different regards. But the both of us are the offspring, and if not for her paving the way, then neither one of us would be able to do the work that we're doing right now. And I know she had different conversations with both of us before she passed away, while she was serving on council. And I know the talks she had with me while I was on council, and the talks that she was having to Kai about why she should run for council. And I think she had to live through being solo. And I'll never forget her saying to me, one day I remember saying to her, like, well, why didn't you want to run a second term? Like, what's? And she was like, you're going to see. She's like, some things I can't tell you, you're going to see, in her way. And she would, turn her head and, you're going to see. You're going to see. And I never understood it. And now I understand it. It's challenging. It's difficult.
Yeah.
And I may have been able to pave the way in some regards, but I can't say for a fact. Without Nakaya, Mayor Walker, first Black mayor, a homegrown product, a person who was probably one of, if not the smartest person that we've ever had on the city council. Without her being able to be so bold, we wouldn't have been able to do a great deal of work. So the only thing that I request from people as I'm coming off is the patience and the support that I've often been afforded recently. I think we need to give that to Mayor Walker, because I think when you're in these positions, initially you are over-criticized and people are hypercritical, and you feel as if you have to be in 20 places at once. And I think people oftentimes think that Black elected officials, specifically in this area, have to all be a certain way. But I just would request for people to understand that we have completely different personalities. Like, this is my sister. I love her to death. Her family knows my family knows her family. We mesh very well, but we're 2 different people. We act 2 different ways. So people don't need to put the expectations that you have of me on her. Like, Nakaya isn't going to do, give away 200 turkeys and go and talk to 500 people in a day. That's not her thing. But if you have something that needs to be read and you want it fine-tuned and you need an advocate who's going to work for you and then be bold enough to bring it forth before city council and make sure that your point is heard to the 10th T, that's her. So let's support her in that regards. And I know personally, I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. And I'm going to be there to support her from the background the same way that she supported me. I would encourage people to understand that, if you're running, you do not have to be Superman or Superwoman. And that was a lesson that I needed to learn, that I had to learn, that I learned. You don't have to be all things to all people. You don't have to be the quote unquote savior. You just need to be yourself. And it's okay to take time learning. It's okay to make mistakes. Yeah. It's okay to learn and grow. I think the best thing that happened to me personally was Nakiah becoming mayor, because it really showed me that you can lead from behind. Like, you don't have to be in the front to be a leader. And in some cases, it's best to be a support person than being the person who's out front or being the face of quote unquote whatever. And sometimes people are better qualified than you to do certain things. And that doesn't mean that you're not good or you're not adequate or whatever. And I think for a lot of people, when they're trying to get into office and they're running for office, they think that, again, they have to do it because they're going to be the ones to make the soul change. And leadership is not defined by leading a 5,000 person march. Leadership is defined, in my opinion, by getting work done. And again, you can get work done from behind. So she has shown me in her way of how she does things. My job and my role in this capacity is to make sure that I'm there for her. So whether that's emotionally, whether that's on the dais, whether that's me learning from her, it's me checking my ego. And I've been really, really appreciative for her in that regard, because she's taught me a lot. And I think it's made me become a better man. She's made me become a better husband, a better father. And she's my sister. So, me hearing things from her, I don't always want to hear them, but I know she loves
Hardly
me.
ever.
Yeah, that's true. I know she loves me because before we even had this relationship, she fought for me like I was her brother who cuts hair around the corner. And from day one, she has shown me that her strength is a position in which, for me in this season of my life, I need to support that, because what she brings to this community, I don't think anybody else can bring. And that's important for people who are running to understand. It's not about you. Ultimately, it's about the community.
Mello, you a fool for this one, boy.
In 96, we was in the Estes parking lot. I'm not a talker, so you never hear me talk a lot. I'ma tell a story of what happened back then. It's the story of some enterprising black men. Y'all remember when Estes used to be jumping, the vendors out and somebody had the beats bumping. My man Papers, yeah, he got the mixtapes, the fly gear from up top. Yo, what up, Dave? Ronnie Anderson over on the chest.